I know y'all gonna hate me for this, but hey, the channel's name is Unpopular Opinions, so here's my unpopular opinion on Sincere. I actually don't think he did all that wrong by Melanie. Here's why. The only thing I think Sincere did wrong when it comes to Melanie is that he should have just straight up told her from the beginning, hey, we're not closed off, you're not my girlfriend, I'm not your boyfriend. This is Love Island, and I'm going to explore. And when I'm exploring other people, that may include kissing, cuddling, bumping, grinding, doing whatever. And I'm not gonna give you a detailed, line by line account of how I'm exploring with other women. And so when we're together, I'm not gonna answer the questions around, did you kiss her? How many times did you kiss? Who initiated the kiss? I'm not answering that. When we're exploring each other, I want the focus to be on us. When you're exploring another guy or when I'm exploring another girl, we're not gonna give detailed accounts to one another about what we're doing because we're not closed off and we're not together. I sincerely think if Sincere would have just said that, nothing else that he did would have been wrong. If he wanted to kiss Soul and then 3 seconds later kiss Melanie, he could do that. Why? Because he's single, they're not closed off, and they're on Love Island, and they're entitled to explore. But because Sincere did not have that direct conversation with Melanie and nip all that questioning in the bud from the beginning, and by the way, if he would have told Melanie, I'm not giving you a detailed account of how I explore with other women, if Melanie would have responded by saying, all right, well then this exploration of me is over, that would have been fully within her rights to do. But that's the only thing I think Sincere did wrong. People are acting like Sincere and Melanie were closed off and in this long-term committed relationship. They were not. They're still not even closed off. And so I'm actually going to side with Anaya a little bit and Trinity a little bit and say, I don't think it's the worst thing for Melanie to consider giving Sincere another opportunity. Why? Because the only thing I think he did wrong was not just nipping in the bud with Melanie and tell her, I'm not giving you a detailed account of how I'm exploring other women. And so, because I don't think that Sincere cheated on Melanie or anything like that, I think it's easily correctable for him to just learn to tell Melanie, hey, until we're exclusive, you should just assume I'm doing what single men do, and I'll just assume you're doing what single women do. That's an easily correctable thing. Right now, Sincere and Melanie are just talking. And what somebody does during the talking phase of a relationship is not an indicator of how they're going to act when they're in an exclusive relationship. So I don't think Melanie should hold it against Sincere that he kissed other women or bumped and grinded on other women while they were in a talking phase. That's not an indicator of how he will behave when they're in an exclusive and committed relationship. Now, if they get out of the villa and they decide to put a title on things, to close off, to become exclusive, committed boyfriend and girlfriend, if he does any of the things he did before, that's absolutely wrong, and she should be done with him. But for now, the only thing he needs to correct is to tell Melanie, hey, Melanie, like, I'm not working 15 months to earn your trust or your family's trust. What I'm going to do to show you that I'm different is to tell you, I'm single, you're single. We are not closed off, which means I'm going to do what single people do. Keep exploring. Once I have a conversation with you and say, I no longer want to explore, do you want to no longer explore, and we decide to be in an official committed relationship, then I will stop engaging with other women. That's the only thing Sincere has to do. So that's my unpopular opinion. I don't get why everybody's acting like Melanie and Sincere were in a multi-year, committed, closed-off relationship. They're still not closed off. They're still not boyfriend and girlfriend. If Sincere wants to explore, he can. If Melanie wants to explore, she can. Let's stop dragging it with this Melanie and Sincere crap. Like, if Melanie wants to get out the villa and be in a relationship with him, cool. At that point in time, then Sincere owes her exclusivity. Until then, all he owes her is to tell her, just so we're clear, I'm going to do me until we're not single. That's it. That's my unpopular opinion.